Welcome to your Virgo horoscopes for the week of the 17th through the 23rd of March. We've got St. Patrick's Day this week. We're kicking it off. Of course, you probably were celebrating last night already and might be a little hungover today. You never know. It's okay. It's Sunday. That's what Sundays are for, right? We also have spring coming up this week, which I'm super excited about. I love the equinox seasons. They're definitely my favorite. No planets in Virgo this week until we get to the end of the week when the moon comes into Virgo. But before we get to that, we still have that Juno slash dark moon focus going on. And their focuses, even though focus is on the home for Virgo, their focuses tend to move into the mind and how the mind works. And the Juno placement of this is actually very interesting. And I had to chuckle actually looking at it right before I started this recording because I'm exactly going through something like this right now. When you're talking about the people in your life, your relationships, and how your perception really defines how you feel about them. What kind of thoughts you're putting out to this particular person is going to define how you feel about these people. So, for instance, when you have somebody in your life that is really difficult, the more you focus on them being difficult, the more hard feelings, the more anger towards this person, the more sadness towards this person, the more you feel like you can't trust the person. And it just all of these things, all of these thoughts about this person floating around in your mind, and it gets very aggressive very quickly. And the more, and it's what's interesting about this too, especially being intellectual signs like Virgo is, it also takes up like all of your time. Like that's all you can think about is how irritated you are with this person. It takes over everything and it becomes an obsession. Virgos know nothing about obsessing, of course. I'm sure we don't want to do that. And I think that that's why this is taking place right now, is because one, this is taking up useful time that could be going towards something else, something that's more important. And two, it directly affects the relationship. If this is a temporary thing, you don't want to lose that person for life over something temporary. In the history of families, this has happened so many times. And we will get to a point where years and years and years later, they hardly even know what they're fighting about anymore. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And yet they continue to hold on to the fight, specifically because they're continuing to hold on to those mental perceptions that they created at that time. And it is a shame when this happens. Of course, there are some relationships where you can't get around this. And I'm not necessarily talking about those, although trying as much as you can is always the best policy. And I know that you have to draw a line in the sand at some point, depending on the relationship. But I'm really referring to, let's say, for example, sibling relationships where there's just a little bit of sibling rivalry there. You don't want that rivalry to get in the way of what could be a good relationship. Again, if it's toxic, that's a different story. Now, let's talk about that moon coming into Virgo because it is going to come in with a bang on Friday as it comes in opposition with it looks like Mars, Saturn, and Venus. Saturn and Venus are in a really close conjunction with each other right now. All of these planets focusing on your long-term career goals. And with the moon's focus on the mind, if this problem that we were referring to when talking about Juno, if this problem continues to exist, it's taking your mental focus away fully from those career goals, which is ultimately going to get in the way of you achieving those goals. It becomes a stumbling block that's really just not necessary. That opposition continues into Saturday, creating that same challenge, but the moon moves into a trine with Jupiter and Uranus, and at some point with Mercury as well. And that is actually a very helpful aspect because all of these planets are focused on your support system and who is really there to help you. You know, those ride or die people that are always there to help you because you're always there to help them. Those beautiful symbiotic relationships. And you Virgos are so fortunate to have so many. Or is it fortune? Maybe it's just hard work and understanding. You know, you never know. This lineup of planets becomes very helpful when your support system takes you out of this constant mental focus on something that isn't necessary right now to help you steer that focus towards your goals specifically. And it helps you become a little less scatterbrained and a little bit more focused to be able to make the right decisions for those long-term career goals. So, with that being said, it does seem like a whole lot, but it really isn't. Bottom line here is it's a choice to focus on whether or not you're going to focus on what's important to you and your responsibilities to your life, or whether or not you're going to focus on something that's petty and really quite honestly is probably taking up way too much of your precious time. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation to my coffee link, which is in the description. Would really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Also, check out my website. Now, I put the link directly to the calendar of the website there so that you can check out all the fun stuff that I'm about to add to that calendar. And you don't want to miss that. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys make it a great week because you always do. You know how to do it. All you got to do is do it. I'll see you guys next week. Make it a great one.